Hi, I'm Miss Toy, and I welcome you to Inside the Haven. And we're mentoring minds and changing lives via television, website, and social media. Tonight, my guest is Nancy Dekatch. The first time I met Nancy was at a caregivers conference that she was hosting, and I was just so impressed. Nancy comes to us with a lot of passion and determination to help, just to be a help. And so with that, here's Nancy Dekatch.
Well, thank you, Toy. I'm so glad that you had me here
I'm
tonight.
so glad you came. I'm so glad you came. Now explain to us what caregivers do.
Well, caregiver is an individual that takes care of a family member. The ones that we take care of are the non-professional family caregiver, and they take care of a sick or disabled loved one.
Now, when did you realize that you wanted to be a caregiver?
Well, I don't think it was really up to me. I think it was up to God.
Okay.
You know, but when I was 3 years old, my oldest brother, was hit by a car.
Oh, wow.
My father learned that he had no kidneys. He was dying of renal failure, and my mother had delivered my younger brother, and he was born a blue baby. So it was just my mother and myself to take care of these three individuals. And of course, that was in 1960, and you know, things have changed a lot. And so I was a caregiver really all my life, and then I married the love of my life, and he became sick and needed a mechanical heart to stay alive. And that's when I think my caregiving experience went full circle. And I did a 360, and after my husband passed away, I got sick. I was in a position where I had no support, I had no money, I had no job, I was a widow, I had absolutely nothing left, including almost losing my life. And I was taken in by a doctor who got me well.
Okay.
And during my recovery is when I realized that if I suffered the way I did, other people are suffering as well. And if I made it through without losing my mind, that I would serve God the rest of my life,
Wow.
serving the caregivers in the capacity that I know.
Wow.
And so I started the Nancy Dekatch Caregivers Institute. I have the Respite Ranch for Caregivers. We have visiting respite services, and we do all types of things that benefit the non-professional family caregiver.
How did you say how long you've been professionally caregiving?
I've been a professional caregiver probably about 30 years, so, you know,
Okay.
as far as
Wow.
in the nursing field. But a family caregiver, I would say it started probably when I was about 3 years old. So probably over 50 years that I've been on both sides.
Now, is that relative? Because I hear a lot of people, and I know people that are a CNA, certified nursing assistant. So is that kinda
Anyone
similar?
that, it is. A professional caregiver would be anyone that administers medical type of treatment to a sick or disabled person. So that could be a home health aide, that could be a certified nurse assistant, that could be an LPN, it could be a licensed nurse, it's your doctors, it's your physicians, it's your mental health community, you know, anything that involves that type of care, because they're actually going to help you get well. The non-professional family caregiver also does a very skilled type of care, but they do it for free.
Right.
And that's where the burnout comes in, and that's where the misunderstanding is because you don't get paid to take care of your loved one. Some instances you can, but most instances you can't. And so what the non-professional caregiver has to understand is that you're going to be doing this work generally without compensation. And all the responsibility lies on you. And there's so many things that you need to know. And coming up in March, we're going to be hosting our caregiver course. It's a 12-week course, and Holy Redeemer Catholic Church is
Okay.
going to be sponsoring it. And
That sounds great.
it's part of it self-care for family caregivers, and then the other part is skilled care from the professional side of it. And we bring together all these people to help shorten the learning curve for the families, because you will lose your role. You will definitely lose your role,
You mean
whether
you
to
lose-
death. As a
Oh, okay,
caregiver,
alright.
a caregiver will lose their role either to death, to placement, sometimes divorce. You know, there's some, but you're somewhere in there you're going to lose your role. But the caregiver needs to be taken care of because they're going to survive,
Right.
and we want to keep them as healthy as possible during their journey.
Now, because this program is geared toward reaching out to youth to help them identify and excel in their purpose, I heard you say that you started out as a young. How did you say you were?
I was 3.
3. Okay, and then I also, listening to you, I could hear that Scripture says that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord.
Right.
And a lot of times, many times, we gonna come into things that we don't realize that that's our purpose.
That's right.
But God is shaping us and molding us into who we are to become, and who we are to be. And so that's what happened to you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was actually crowned Miss Romper Room
Mm-hmm.
when I was 3, and it wasn't sure. It was just a few weeks after that all these things happened. And what happened to my mother happened within a 6-month period of time. So she didn't have time to do anything. My brother was in a coma when I got hit by a car.
Not to cut you off, but let me ask you this. When did you realize that you were a caregiver?
I realized I was a family caregiver after I became a widow.
Okay.
Because I just thought it was what you're supposed to do. Doesn't everybody take care of their family?
And how many? And going back, how many years again had you already been? You were already caregiving, or a caregiver before you realized, oh, I'm a caregiver.
Probably 42 years.
Long time.
Because in our upbringing, you just took care of your family. That's just the way it was. There was no mom didn't go to work. It was just the way it was. But our values in society are not like that anymore. We have to have 2 people working.
Right.
Things are too expensive. There are children that need things. They've got all this crazy society stuff going on with these incidents that happen in schools, and we've got problems in this world, and sometimes the children are left to society to be taken care of, and they need help as well.
Right. Now, have you had any formal training? I know you're getting ready to offer this course. Have you yourself had any formal training?
Yes.
And what was that?
Oh, geez, I've been, oh gosh, so much. I'm a
I'm
phlebotomist,
sure.
I've been a nurse assistant, I've gone further than that, I've done administrative nursing. I actually ran an assisted living complex. We had 100 and some apartments in there. I did my clinicals at a nursing home, so I have extensive geriatric training. I do wound care. I do co-counseling. I do relaxation. I'm a manicurist. I'm a health coach. I mean, I've got extensive training.
Well, I'm sure those that need care would
many
like to have their yeah.
Exactly,
Right.
but it's really interesting because when I was doing my clinicals in a nursing home, there was this one patient I had named Connie. And she was just a hoot. She was just great. And she says to me, Nancy, whatever you do, she says, take care of your hands, your face, and your feet, because when you get old, that's all you can look at. Everything else you get to cover up. And I'll never forget that.
I agree with that.
And I just thought that was so neat. But the wisdom I received from my elderly patients, from my geriatric community, was just unbelievable. I learned so many things. And these secrets now have been buried with them. And so I try to remember what they have said to me and pass it on to the next generation to use,
right.
because there are things coming in this world, and we're going to have to rely on getting our own water from a well, or those learning how to make soap and all those types of things, canning our own food, because the way society is going, we're so poisoned.
Yes, we are.
We
Yes,
are just so poisoned.
Now, were there any obstacles that you had to overcome to become Nancy Dekatch? And you didn't mention this, but I'll mention it. You were just crowned.
I have been crowned Miss Glamour Golden Girl.
Okay.
It's a national title. It's under the Miss America pageant, and I have been awarded Miss Michigan for 2016.
Now, did that come about in part because of your caregiving experience and the things that you do in the community in regards to caregiving?
Well, that's kind of interesting, because I received a call one day from the pageant director, and they had been watching me on social media.
Oh, wow.
And they were really impressed with everything that I did, and I just thought it was a hoax. And then I did some research, and I found out, oh my goodness, it's a real deal. And so I have been awarded this wonderful opportunity, and they based it on my community outreach. They based it on the event that we just did with Justice Bernstein and the deaf singers and things like that we did. That whole event they were watching, and the fact that I was in a fashion show.
Really?
in October, and they put those things together, but they've been watching me for some time, I don't know how long, and I received the call, and I really wasn't sure if I wanted to do that, because sometimes it's hard to I didn't want to lose friends.
Well, it's a
you know?
platform. Well, it's
Yeah, I
a
didn't want
platform
to
to
lose
get your
friends.
message out, though.
Exactly, but I
Right.
didn't want to lose any friends, and so I didn't know if I wanted to do it, and then I decided I'm going to go for it because it was meant for me, and it's going to be great. I'm crowned on February 28th in Galveston, Texas, and I will then compete for the Glamour Golden Girl of America Award and International.
That is wonderful. And it sounds like to me that this came about all because you were doing what was in your heart to do, what obviously God had ordained you to do, and what was just your purpose.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing, is I really believe that people know their gifts and their talents, but I don't necessarily think they understand what their purpose is. And we're all here together at this time in our life to do something together. And I don't think anyone meets by accident.
Right,
and I
right.
think we're all here for one reason or the other. We connect as a chain and we stay strong. And God will remove people that are not supposed to be there.
And it doesn't mean that they're bad. It's
Right.
just-
It's just there might be a bridge to the next thing, and that's fine. But the biggest thing I take away out of if I were to go to heaven tomorrow is that at least people know that I love them. And I've always had a compassionate heart. I've always had a compassionate attitude. But I was an individual, in spite of the circumstances in my life, that I was loved. I knew my parents loved me. I knew
Wonderful.
my husband loved me. And when you have that and you've been touched by love, you can do anything. Even though I miss them terribly, and I cry sometimes, and certain times of the year I get a little strange, and I go away and I cry or whatever. But I don't let it get me down, because really what now I have to do is I want to get the word out to show that God loves you, Jesus is here, He wants you to love Him as well, and everybody has a reason to exist today with the group of people that we meet.
Well, that kind of takes me into my next question, because even though we're going to have a lot of adults on this show, we're going to have young people, youth as well, sharing what they want to do, what they're doing. But the reason why I'm having the adults on, such as yourself, is to share what you're doing, why you're doing it, and don't even realize that they are caregivers. They're caring for their mom. They're helping mom care for dad. They're caring for the aunt, uncle, or whomever they may be caring for. They can't do the things that allow their peers to do because they're at home caregiving. So if you just have some words of encouragement for that person.
What I would recommend is that don't cheat yourself out of your education. You will never go wrong if you have an education. You will never suffer financially. You will always be able to achieve your dreams. But no matter how hard it is, do not get distracted by the things that life will throw at you. And you can have interruptions, that's fine, but you need to keep your eye on the prize, and that is you graduating. And I would not necessarily recommend people to go for certified nurse assistant unless
Go beyond.
Yeah, don't even go there.
Okay.
I mean, because you need to start right at the college level if you can. Do that. If you can get through nursing school, and it is hard. It's very hard. But go on to get your master's, your bachelor's, all of your bachelor's, your master's, and go on even to get your doctorate. Because if you have a doctor's degree, you will always have work, no matter what you do. Some of these other classifications, you might have a degree, but you might not be able to get a job. And with our senior population, you will have to understand what the geriatric community is about. You have to understand how they lived, you have to understand the era they came from, you have to understand their religion, you have to understand so much. And I would recommend that they go beyond their RN and go on, as far as they can go, because they can become a teacher, they can become a professor, they can start doing lectures, they can write books, there's so many things that they can do, but it's hard work. But if you don't invest in yourself, you're the one that's going to be sorry. And young girls, they're cute, and the guys love you.
Beauty fades.
It's just, it's great, and that's the time that you should be attracting people. But if you go to college, more than likely you'll find an educated male, if we're talking about females, you'll find an educated male that has an interest in education, so you'll have a good life with that person. Your children will have a better start, and there's so many advantages if you continue your education. But don't cut yourself short for anything.
I think on the way here I was thinking about Jeremiah 29:11 that talks about God knows the plans that He has for us, for you, and they're plans of good. They're good plans to give us a great future. And I think, as long as a young person, well, no matter how old you are, if you can keep that as your focus, keep God as your focus. It doesn't matter whether it doesn't matter what else comes your way. If you can keep God as your focus, whether they latch onto get married or stay single, whether they have children or don't, if they can keep that as the center of their focus, I think.
I think
that's
God's huge. God's huge in it all. And, it's really interesting because one of the things that we do in our workshops is that we have people close their eyes and we take them back to an early stage in their childhood. And generally, you will know what you're meant to do.
Okay.
You will know.
You help them identify the purpose.
Exactly. Okay. You will be able to, because maybe you played with dolls a lot, or maybe you made little clothes out of Kleenexes or something. Maybe you're fit for creativity. Maybe you'll be a beautician or something like that. Maybe you wrote books. I've got a granddaughter. All she wants to do is write books. She has me staple papers together.
My granddaughter does that too.
That's right. She does like that.
Yeah.
So they'll be writers. So they'll be intellectuals.
Right.
I encourage parents to take their children to the library.
Expose them.
Books, not computer, but books where they actually can feel it and see it and sit with you and hear your voice, not only from your voice but also from your insides.
Right.
They feel that vibration, and encouraging to do that. But children learn what they live.
Right.
And I just see a real lack of interest in these young parents. I don't know why they have children sometimes. They don't love them enough. They don't nurture them. I don't quite understand that. But
I don't
your program is wonderful because you teach where the people should have, your individuals should have a good, strong self-esteem, and they need to have that. But I think it all goes down to peer pressure too.
Yeah. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know. Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
I make learning a privilege, not a chore. And unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up?
Oh, we finally bought a place.
Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on...
Was it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Look at this guy. What are you gonna do, kid? Go home. It's hopeless. Yeah.
OV.
What if we... Why can't we?
Flint, Michigan.
Why not?
Our voices.
Our voices.
WFOV.
What would happen if we...
WFOV.
How many times have I said...
I've got the solution.
Not everybody's bad.
Why can't we work together?
WFOV.
Our voices.
Our voices.
WFOV. You know what the problem is?
I heard a guy on the radio.
There's other
Our
communities.
voices. I like to hear it.
WFOV.
I heard...
WFOV.
What?
WFOV.
Our voices. 259-978 Flint's newest radio station. Located right here in Flint, Michigan. The Good News Radio. If you're interested in getting involved, having your own show, or just supporting the station, give us a call at 259-9789. That's 259-9789. It's Our Voices. Located right here in Flint, Michigan. The Good News Radio. If you're interested in getting involved, having your own show, or just supporting the station, give us a call at 259.
Welcome back to Inside the Haven. And Nancy, I just was thinking about the last thing you said, and it just sparked a memory to me that children are the heritage of the Lord, and it doesn't. To me, that just says that having been a teenage mom, it just doesn't specify how they got here. You know, but that they're here, they're God's inheritance, and even though some of them come here and they aren't loved and they aren't properly cared for and they're neglected, don't, grow up in the best of situations, adopted or whatever, they're still God's inheritance. And when they don't get, when some of us don't get what we need from one avenue, it comes forth from another. And it makes us who we are and shapes us into who we are, and we're like diamonds in the rough.
Right.
And just waiting and those things, that all that adversity and those problems polish us up and buff us up and make us ready to shine. And so that's why I think it's in my heart to reach the youth of America. There were so many things in my life that helped me to shine, helped me to become who I am. And that's one of the reasons that Inside the Haven is here, is to help you shine, to help you become who God has created you to be. And so with that, do you have anything else you'd like to share with us? Share with us. Tell us again, when is your event? Your
We'll
training
be hosting our Caregiver course. It's a 12-week course, and it's going to be beginning in March 10th.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be doing a meet and greet where you get to meet me, and you get to meet some of the other people and the presenters, and you can come with your questions and register for that program. And it's going to be held at the Holy Redeemer Catholic Church on Hemp Hill. No, it's not Hemp Hill. It's Bristol Road and 475. It's right smack on the corner. You can't miss it. And it's in there's a hall in the back. I'm not sure exactly what that is called, but that's where we're going to be holding these workshops. We have a morning program and an evening program. And what it'll be is, part of the program will be for caregiver self-care, and the other part will be for caregiver professional care.
Is there age?
No, they just have to be an adult.
Okay.
We're going to focus on everything. We'll focus on caregivers that have individuals with special needs. We have seniors. We have, just everything, cardiac, diabetes, everything you can imagine, because there are certain things that most caregivers have in common. And then, the laws change, and it's just always changing. And we're having a financial course. We're doing that. We're doing
is there a fee though for
the materials fee is $89,
okay.
And then you have to have the material because it's a student, it's a class. And so you have to purchase that whole package, and you'll get a workbook and all these really great things in one of my books. But we're going to be talking about veterans benefits. We're going to have VFWs there, so you can find out what the discharge was of the person that you're taking care of, a veteran, because not every benefit is the same for a veteran. It's not all, one size fits all. It's not like that. And so we'll have that. We'll have caregiver services there. We just have a whole lot of everything. So when you leave that course, you will know what your responsibilities are, but you won't leave without support.
Oh wow, that's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's a great course.
That's gonna be great. Okay, with that, I'd like to welcome you. I thank you for joining us tonight at Inside the Haven, and I encourage you to send me an email to come and be a part of the show. Come and be on with me and share what you do, what you want, what you're doing, how long you've done it, and speak to the youth of America, because you don't know who you may reach. There may be some young person out there that wants to do exactly what you're doing, but they just don't know how to get involved. They don't know where to start. They don't know who to talk to. And this is your chance to mentor that young person, even just briefly, on this television show. Or if you can't come to the show, go to my website, insidethehaven.com, or shoot me an email at insidethehaven@gmail.com, and let me know that you want to be on the show. Again, this is Ms. Toy, and I thank you for joining us. Good night.
If I got to go to college, oh my goodness. I like discovering new things. You get to see what works for you and what doesn't. That helps you evolve as a person. You get to make like a supernova of skill or talent or whatever it is. I've always wanted to go to college. I just feel like that's my destiny. My name is Queen, and I am your dividend.